This is M-Dog20, Matt Cross, and you're listening to True Heel Heat.
This is Timothy Barr from MLW. Make sure you give a listen to one of the greatest podcasts in the world, True Heel Heat.
What's up, guys? It's Wolverine, Death Machine, Mr. GMSI himself, Brian Cage, and you're watching True Heel Heat. Who better? Nobody.
Rob Van Dam, listen to True Heel Heat. Pow.
Yo, what up? You know what it is. It's your boy AJ Francis reporting to you live from New York City, the birthplace of hip hop. And I'm telling you that I'm only tuned in with True Heel Heat Wrestling. Holla at me.
Hello. It is me, your True Heel Phenom, SP3. We are back live on the True Heel Heat YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter for NJPW X Stardom Historic Crossover 2. The second edition of the historic crossover co-promotional event between New Japan Pro Wrestling and Stardom. The first one was back in 2022. They took a year off last year, and now we're back for the second edition. And we got some matches to discuss, some matches to break down. We appreciate y'all if you were joining us live. Appreciate y'all if you're watching us on demand. Remember to show your appreciation back the simplest way possible. Let's drop the thumbs up on this video. You can also share this video with all your wrestling fans, friends, and family on all your favorite social media platforms. If you're new to the True Hill Heat YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell to stay notified for all the great content here. And of course, sound off in the live chat. We'd love to interact with all of you guys, hear your thoughts on this Sunday's historic crossover 2 event, New Japan Pro Wrestling and Stardom teaming up, another promotional event from New Japan Pro Wrestling, who is known for them because you got, Forbidden Door, which started in 2022 as well, with a historic crossover that their first one was in 2022. You got them teaming up with CMLL for Fantastica Mania in the US as well as in Japan. We've seen various New Japan stars go over to CMLL, various New Japan stars go over to AEW, but very rarely, especially in Japan, does New Japan and Stardom co-populate the same show. Sometimes you'll have a Stardom star featured on a New Japan show, like we saw over the New Japan Road Tour that had World of Stardom champion Tam Nakano on one of their events. You had Great Okan, the King of Pro Wrestling 2024 provisional champion. He went over to Stardom to issue an open challenge to the ladies over there for this event. But we're going to see a lot of crossover, some mixed tag team action on this card, which is very rare for New Japan and Stardom in Japan having these co-promotional event. It's a very special thing for both companies coming together under the Bushiroad banner. We got Alex Powell who says, Ode Noah Graps is always smiles. Yes, indeed. But sound off in the live chat. Like I said before, love to interact with all of you guys. Talk about NJPW X Stardom historic crossover. Hear your thoughts on the card. If you want to just sound off in the live chat, that's the best way to kind of interact with us here on the True Hill Heat YouTube channel. You will try to highlight as many of your comments as possible. But of course, if you're feeling generous, you want to give back to what we do here, you could send a super chat donation. But regardless if you're watching on demand or watching live, we appreciate it if you just drop the thumbs up on the video. That helps out the YouTube algorithms. But don't worry, you won't be just seeing my face for the whole entire preview, because my tag team partner, I was like the tag team partner who's just left alone at the beginning because my partner is injured, and then my partner shows up on the 8-minute. I'm like, yeah, and hot tag to the biggest and most positive NJPW fanatic in the land. Sonal is here. How are you doing, Sonal?
I wasn't gonna leave you high and dry. I wasn't gonna be that tag team partner who was like, we'll just let them do it and we'll see what happens. I am there to support you.
See, this is where I pick my tag team partners wisely. Pick them wisely. Sonal's the best one. She has a great hot tag. But yes, we're here to discuss some Stardom and historic crossover for New Japan Pro Wrestling and Stardom. I was kind of talking about how rare it is that we see these co-promotional event between New Japan and Stardom, despite New Japan having various co-promotional events, including Wrestle Dynasty that they're building to on January 5th that Sonal will be there live for. But kind of what do you like about the New Japan and Stardom historic crossover? What can they do from the last event in 2022 that you want to see done on this show coming up on Sunday?
Was there not one last year?
No.
I was gonna say, it feels like forever since they've had one. I think for me personally, as someone who only has time for New Japan for my own personal well-being, I had to cut down, I don't have the time for that. For me, this is like any co-promotional, even when you get them here in the UK, it's always nice to see wrestlers that you don't normally see, but also combinations that you don't normally see. We'll speak about it with one of the intergender tag teams. It's really refreshing. And I know there was a certain shooter who made a certain comment that has gained attention about historic crossover. I think you've got to remember, at the core of it, Japan is still a very traditional society. So I think this, in a sense, and when you see the wrestlers who are involved, this like paves the way. Because if you think about it, aside from maybe DDT and Tokyo Joshi, everything has always been very separate. Not for lack of equality, but it's always like, well, women are strong enough to have their own, men's are strong enough to have their own. So like, this is great to see how like things are moving. But I saw a lot of people like criticizing all the wrestlers, and I think this is just generally like something that I think with everything that's gone on. I don't know if you saw the Desperado stuff.
No, no. Oh, I did. I think I did see a little bit that Desperado was accused of being homophobic.
Yeah. So people need to remember that Japan is a very different culture to ours. Like obviously, Despe came out and was like, all of that isn't true, which is good. And is again, this is a big thing as New Japan fans, and especially me learning Japanese. You can't rely on like autocorrect and things like that, because Japanese is all about like intonation and stuff. So similar with that, if Shota makes these comments, you've got to think that it's never. I can't say it's never. I assume it is not from a malicious standpoint. Do you know what I mean? It's not from a sexist standpoint. It is just the culture, and it's like. I love this because personally, I've always loved DDT. You know, when they do the intergender, I think it's amazing. But you shouldn't be surprised if there are Japanese, because I think there was a list on the article of names who don't want to be involved in it. I think like, what was it, like people named like Naito, Evil, and Goto and stuff. While it sometimes might be hard to take that your favorite wrestler doesn't like this idea, I think it's wrong to like hold them to like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, because it's basically kind of your upbringing, and like you said, that some of Japan is more of a traditional sense, dating back to like the 60s, 70s type of thing. So, you know, that can get you in trouble nowadays because it's 2024 and everybody's ready to take everything to the extreme.
I think that's the thing, like especially if you look at the whoever, I can't remember what Twitter site put out, especially the Shoto one. The comments were they were very much like Western based, and I think going into this it's a great showing of like things have moved forward. Like even when you see in DDT and stuff with the women fighting, everything is moving forward. But I think, yeah, with everything that's gone on the past few days, I think people need to be a bit mindful of like what they take and how they take it, and like putting Western standards to Asian standards.
Yes, it's too.
That
totally
was a really
different.
big tangent, but I was just like, with everything that's gone on, I was like, I think this kind of needs to be brought up.
No, you're right to do that. Like I didn't hear too much about the Shoto Aminu comments, but I did hear about the El Desperado kind of thing because I saw his post on Twitter, and I was just.
Let me see if I can find the Shoto Umino stuff. I think because again, I couldn't access the article for some reason, because something about Japan Yahoo, but apparently,
Gotcha.
So he said, I'm rather against mixed matches. I don't understand the point of having men and women fight. If you're going to hold a joint event, I think one option would be for New Japan and Stardom to alternate matches. If they force a mixed match and there are concerns like, is it okay? Will they get hurt? So, like, I don't think it's anything coming from like, oh, he hates women. He doesn't think women can do it. Because I think that's what some people are trying to imply. But yeah, those are his comments, apparently. But again, I've not seen the original. So maybe I'll try and search that out and try and translate it.
All right, there we go. Sonal's on the case. But interesting. Shoto Amino. I don't think he said anything too malicious. I can understand if you've been brought up a certain way and you don't get it. I understand him saying that. Like I don't get the reason why we're doing this. That's fine. But
he didn't even really say that. I think he said that if they do it, then he prefers it to have it where it's like alternate. You know how most of it is, where it's like you have a New Japan match, then a women's match, then a New Japan match, then a women's match. So
and it is that for most of this card. Like it's only the top like 3 or 4 matches that are kind of mixing the talent together.
And I feel like they are some of the wrestlers who are okay with it. And I guess. Maybe, and that this would be nice if by doing this more often, that more people are open to it. Because I think it's not even just like people maybe in Japan. You could ask a lot of traditionalists, and intergender matches is probably something that isn't a thing. Like, how many do we get on Western wrestling shows? Like on mainstream, do you know what I mean? Like independent, you see it quite often here in the UK, but you won't see it on like the televised. AEW, WWE, how often is it, if ever there are any?
There's like some. There's some. I think WWE, of course, will do it more often than AEW, but even AEW has done a couple of like mixed tag team matches, but it's not something that's prevalent on every show. So I understand like if he's like worried, if Shoto's like a little bit worried that this is gonna become like the norm, that they're gonna mix the two promotions together, then I understand his beef and his confusion on everything. But if it's just one show, I don't really get it.
Like I said, I quite like it. It's a nice way to bring together, because there are people who won't go out their way to watch a Stardom show, or Stardom fans who won't go out their way to watch New Japan. So this way, they get a best of both worlds. And I think that all the wrestlers are as strong as each other, and it's going to be very exciting.
I agree there. We do got a couple of comments to highlight here. We got I Make Beats with a super chat donation. Thank you so much, I Make Beats, for the support. He says SP3 and THH, best in the game, brother. Thank you so much, I Make Beats. Always appreciate the love you send us in the chat and being a member of the channel as well. He says, yo, Sonal, what's good? TGIF, happy weekend. Yes, happy weekend to you as well. We got Alex Powell, who says, I wonder if the main is going to set up something for the IWGP belt in Dynasty, as Stardom has a big show in late December. I could see that with Tam Nakano, Mayu Iwatani versus Momo Watanabe. I think that's the semi-main event. I don't think that's the main event. But maybe you can have Mayu come out and challenge either MAIKA or Starlight Kid from the main event.
It'll be interesting to see, like, a thing. For New Japan, Wrestle Dynasty and Wrestle Kingdom, and now the big main event. But Stardom have shows in between. They have. Didn't we mention, I think me and SP3 mentioned that Stardom also has a show before Wrestle Kingdom. So I think it's harder to predict for Stardom if what they're planning is going to lead to Dynasty. But I assume they will have a match. I don't know if they're going to have a match at Wrestle Kingdom. I assume so, but I don't
think so. I think they're going to save it for Wrestle Dynasty. Yeah.
It makes more sense.
That's why when we were doing the review for Fighting Spirit Unleashed, I was surprised that Takeshita's on the Wrestle Kingdom card, because I thought they would save all the AEW, Stardom, ROH, CMLL stars for the 5th.
Takeshita's special. He did the G1, you know. He if he wants to be New Japan, he can be on a certain day. So, you know, one day he's a New Japan guy, so he can do Wrestle Kingdom, and the next day he's AEW, so he can do that show as well, because New Japan knows that we can't get enough of Takeshita, and we are happy with that.
We're all sold on the Takeshita bandwagon for sure. But we're getting 2 days of Takeshita, so that's sweet. That's sweet. But we also got I Make Beats. He says, I struggle to watch Stardom, but that's more of finding it online / affording it. Understandable.
Yeah, that's like maybe like 2 years ago, I was watching New Japan. Bless you, SP3. I was watching New Japan DDT in Tokyo Joshi. And it was great, and I loved it. And actually, the price wasn't too bad on how you got. But for me, and like it's similar why I can't get into Stardom, is that it's time-wise. I remember I used to spend literally, when I finished work, it was like every waking moment was watching wrestling. And it's like, you get to a point where you're like, it's sort of, you don't end up enjoying it because it's like a chore that you've got to watch. Like, if you're like me, like, I know some people can like dip in and out of the big shows, but if anyone who knows that I've watched every single New Japan show since I started in 2018, you'll know that I can't do anything half-hearted. So another promotion is not feasible.
You're watching the Road 2 shows. She's watching the shows that I skip.
I watch the multi-man matches. I watched the pre-show. I've literally watched everything. I went on holiday to Portugal like a few weeks ago, and when I had free time, I was watching the New Japan Road 2 shows, like all of the Power Struggle and stuff. Not just the tag matches, like for the tag league. I was watching them all.
Gotta watch them all. She's like she's getting the Pokemon. But yes, we're going to talk about some New Japan and Stardom for Historic Crossover 2 coming up this Sunday. It's going to be available on NJPWworld.com. You got in the kickoff matchup, the pre-show matchup, it's going to be Hanako teaming up with Aya Sakura to versus Sayaka and Sayaka Kura and Arana Yagami. I'm going to say Yagami. I'm going to get a lot of these names wrong, so excuse me in advance. I apologize. But who you got here in this opener? The one person that I know is Hanako, so I'm going to go with her team.
I mean, I feel really bad because for these Stardom matches, I don't really know many of them. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to watch it. And I think they're always going to be exciting to see. Like, I think they even like, because you said this was the pre-show, right?
Yeah, that's the pre-show. For
me, like, some people miss the pre-show, but the wrestlers on the pre-show are just as strong. Do you know what I mean? They're the ones who are like, right, I want to be on the main show. I'm on the pre-show, but I'm going to work. And also, I don't know if it's like every other pay-per-view, because normally the pre-show is shown like for free on New Japan World or something. So actually, they're an advantage because more people will be watching them because they don't have to pay for the show.
That's a good point. That is a good point. I'm like I said, I'm going to go with Hanako. She seems like a person that Stardom is getting behind. Like, she's been featured on the NJPW Strong shows. She's done a little excursion over in the US already. So it seems like they're committed to her. And this seems like kind of a showcase with some of the other kind of younger stars in Stardom right now for her to be on this card. So give them credit for finding a way for her on the card. You got in the opening matchup, these are a couple of ladies that I am familiar with here, as you got the Cosmic Angels of the World of Stardom champion Tam Nakano teaming up with Sari Anoi to verse Tamaka Anaba and Shuri. Shuri, of course, is a former World of Stardom champion herself, the dominant run she had back in 2022. Tam Nakano recently regained the championship and has been having successful defense under her belt. Her and Sari are, I believe, 2/3 of the artists of Stardom Championship. They're 6-man tag team titles, so they got a lot of gold over there on the Cosmic Angel side. So Cosmic Angels versus God's Eye. Who you got here?
So I do actually know people here. I know Shuri and I know Tam Nakano. I really like Tam Nakano, so I'm gonna go for her. And is it Ano? I assume that's pronounced.
Sorry, Ano.
Yeah, sorry, Ano. I'm gonna go for those two. I think Nakano is an amazing athlete. Whenever I watch her, like, I'm in awe because, like, I think I forget, like, a lot of these Stardom wrestlers are quite petite. They're quite small, like me. But they're so powerful and so fast. And Nakano for me is just amazing in the ring, like, phenomenal.
Yeah, she's really kind of like the penultimate babyface for Stardom. Her or Mayu. Those are the two, like, when you think of like the top babyfaces in Stardom, those are the two that you immediately think of. Shuri, she's just like her run that she had back in 2022, they were calling her the Japanese Brock Lesnar because she was so dominant as a champion, has that MMA background as well. I'm going to go with the God's Eye team to get the victory here because I would like to see Shuri get the shot at Tam Nakano. If it hasn't been determined yet, either at the end of year show for Queendom for Stardom or on the January show, January 3rd show, she can get her title shot then. But I want to see Shuri because Shuri and Mayu Iwatani earlier this year, I think that was on January 3rd. That was one of the best women's matches of the year. And I think Shuri and Tam Nakano can capture that magic as well.
They have really good chemistry with each other. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Unreal.
Then we got some more this time 6-woman tag team action as you got Neo Genesis led by Azumi. They're gonna be facing the Hate faction, which you got Rina, Ruka, and Kananami. Kananami on this side with the Neo Genesis. It's Azumi, Meisera, and Miyo Amasaki. So this is two factions that have been feuding with each other over the last couple of months. Hate is basically the a merge between Bullet Club War Dogs or House of Torture, depending on which Stardom fan you talk to. Some people think that their shenanigans is borderline House of Torture,
Yes,
and some people think that they're badasses like Bullet Club War Dogs.
I think I saw like a discourse on one of their matches on like a show before, like a few months ago, and literally everyone's like, "Why is this like?" I think they didn't like the match because there was so much interference. So that made me think they were like House of Torture. But it's interesting that you said they can be badass like War Dogs. I'll keep an eye out for that. But I like a good babyface versus heel match.
Yeah, you need those type of matches, especially on a card like this. But who you got? You got Neo Genesis or Heat here.
Neo Genesis, because I always like a good babyface, and also me and Azumi are like besties after Roll Quest. So she's one of the sweetest and cutest people in the world. I was like,
I was gonna go with Hate, but I was like, if they're anything close to House of Torture, I'm not gonna do that to myself. So yes, I'll go with Neo Genesis as well.
I was gonna say, I was like, you compared a faction to House of Torture and you were gonna have them win? That doesn't sound right, SP3.
No, couldn't do that to myself. But yeah, I'm interested in that 6-woman tag team matchup for sure. Alex Powell saying the reviews are usually a mix between the two factions. Yeah, that's I based that whole explanation on what I seen online because I saw how Heat was kind of created with Saya Kamatani joining the group and stuff like that, and then being reborn because they used to be. It was a lot of the members were from Oedo Tai, and then they merged with people from God's Eye and people from I think it was either Cosmic Angels or one of the other groups, and they kind of like merged them all. No, Queen's Quest, because they broke up Queen's Quest and she joined up with Oedo Tai, and then they created Hate. And ever since then, the last couple of months, all I've heard is, "Oh, they're Bullet Club Board Dogs." No, they're more like House of Torture. And I was like, yeah, it's a mix of the two, pretty much.
It would have been funny if like the members of House of Torture did do the show, and you could have had Hate and House of Torture facing like members of Hontai.
That would have been perfect. Members of Hontai and Stars against Hate and House of Torture.
The bright colors of the babyface, and then it's just all black for the heels. Because I think on the preview you shown the outfits look like they'd really work well with the House of Torture guys.
Absolutely, for sure. Next up, we got back to some New Japan action, a New Japan 6-man tag team matchup. You got Toriano, Bolton Oleg, and Tiger Mask versus the United Empire team of Callum Newman, Francisco Akira, and Jeff Cobb. This one should be pretty good here. I'm going to go with the United Empire boys to pick up the win, though.
Yeah, similar. As much as, we love a good Tiger Mask match when he's very salty, I think he's going to get the pin. And also it's interesting because obviously Cobb and Callum for World Tag League. So
yes,
it'll be interesting to see their chemistry. And then on the other hand, we've got Oleg and Yano teaming as well. So I think this is like a preview for that. So that's going to be interesting.
Yeah. I put it together after I saw who was in the matchup. I was like, oh, this is basically previewing World Tag League. So
it's going to be maybe Akira might get lucky and pin Tiger Mask, but I think Tiger Mask is definitely going to get pinned there.
It's like out of all the people on the babyface side, yeah, it's probably you, Tiger Mask.
Yeah, because normally, for example, if you had like Tanahashi in that match, then I'd say Akira. But not only is Tiger Mask in the match, but Akira, I think, from what I've been seeing the past few months, I don't want to jinx it. Okay, I don't want to jinx it, but I think they're really building Akira up to be one of the time, and I wouldn't be surprised if in the next year, again, don't quote me, that a junior singles title run might be hopefully in Akira's future.
I was calling for it this year, so I got my fingers crossed that you're
We
right.
got we got
Fingers
Doki
crossed.
this year.
This
We
is
got
true.
Doki Mania. So I mean, we
We
got
did.
Doki this year. So let's have Akira or Wato next year.
Wato Mania next year. That's what I'm
Yeah, I
calling
mean, we
for.
should have got Wato Mania this month, but that didn't happen.
Next up, we got some more multi-person action here, actually, as it's going to be an 8-person tag team matchup where we will see the aforementioned Hate teaming up with the Bullet Club War Dogs, as you're going to see Saya Kamatani and Natsuko Toro teaming up with Drilla Maloney and Gabe Kidd to verse Hanan and Saya Aida, teaming up with Hiroshi Tanahashi and Rasuke Taguchi. This is just a mixture of like the top babyface factions versus the top heel factions of Stardom and NJPW. We basically asked for this matchup, and here it is. Sonal. So who do you got? You got the baby faces of Hontai and Stars, or Hate and Bullet Club War Dogs?
Right, this is hard, okay, because I'm looking at this and I'm like, right, you got 4 very, like, within the New Japan guys, you've got 4 very different guys, and they're similar with Stardom. Now, on the thing, I'd like a nice babyface win, you know? However, I think just with, I'm thinking about the matches coming up. I think the match in like 2 times, and also just the, like, this isn't House of Torture, this is War Dogs. On what they're trying to establish with War Dogs, I believe it's going to be War Dogs and Hate getting the pin over Taguchi. It'd be really funny if one of the members of Hate pins Taguchi. I think that'd be amazing.
I would love that so much. To answer I Make Beats, I don't think there's any new news on ELP as of right now. So
he's keeping people updated on social media. He seems to be in good spirits, sometimes quite dark humor on the issue. But, you know, we're sending ELP all of our love. We love ELP on this channel so much.
We'll put your broken heart back together.
We'll put the broken heart.
I am also gonna go with the Hate and Bullet Club War Dogs team, only because they had the fucking madman himself, Gabe Kidd. After talking to him, I'm now one of his biggest fans.
That's wrong. You should have already been one of his biggest fans. I have always been on the fucking madman train. So,
well, you got to talk to him way before I did.
I did. I was, but I didn't speak to the fucking madman.
No, you spoke to the Nice Gate. So it's easy. So it's actually easier for you to be a fan of Gabe Kidd because you knew him when he was nice. He wasn't cursing. He cursed at me so much. I thought I stopped censoring it after transcribing for a while. It just became natural for him to say shit and fuck and all this.
Well, so SP3 did that, guys. If you have time, go onto social media because Gabe said that he wants round 2 with me. Spam his in Twitter because Sonal's Life and Gabriel Kidd need to meet, and we have both grown up. He's a fucking madman. I am now. Well, I'm not. I'm much older now, much more mature. So I think I can face the fucking madman. If SP3 could.
Wait, what's your nickname? What's your nickname? He's the fucking madman. What are you?
Thing is, if you'd asked me like before Gabe Kidd even got that, I would have used fuck him because I feel like one of the things when I was growing up, I was like, someone you swear too much. But right. If this happens, if me and Gabe Kidd happen again, I will come up with a new nickname.
Okay.
I will come up, and also Alex, Gabe Kidd in WCPW to now is bizarre. That's where I first watched Gabe Kidd in WCPW.
I did too. I saw that young man.
I watched him live at that promotion when they came to Manchester.
It's not even the same person, folks. Not the same person.
Who is that? Who is that Gabe Kidd? I do not know who he is anymore.
Next up, we got to talk about the big title match on this card that will see NJPW versus Stardom straight up down the middle, as it will be the Great Okan defending the King of Pro Wrestling 2024 Provisional Championship against Suzu Suzuki in a hardcore matchup. It was the Great Okan who made the open challenge to anyone on the Stardom roster, and it was Suzu Suzuki at the press conference for the event who accepted the challenge. She wanted to make this a hardcore matchup and see how extreme that Great Okan can go. If you know Suzu Suzuki and how she made a name for herself in Joshi wrestling, it was working the death match scene, doing a hardcore matches just like this. Is Great Okan ready for what Suzu Suzuki can do? And can Suzu Suzuki win the KOPW championships and all?
I am so bloody excited. When I saw the press conference for this, it was the funniest thing I've ever seen. Like, I feel like Okan just doesn't give a shit. Like, what other New Japan wrestler would straight up go, I want a singles match for this belt with a female wrestler, and I do not even care. And I think that's like one of the things I love about Okan is that he's just so unbothered. And when I saw who it was Suzu Suzuki, I was like, this is the perfect pairing. This is two people who do not give a shit about conventions or niceties. And they are literally, and I think there's an added stipulation that if Okan loses, he's got to shave his hair. Is that still a thing? I remember that at the press conference.
I guess so. I don't know. I guess so.
I would love to see Suzuki win, and then she can defend it at Dynasty. Or I don't know if Okan wants to make an appearance at the January 3rd show for Stardom, or if she wants to come to Wrestle Kingdom.
Well, aren't they gonna make? No, it's gonna make it a new champion. She should end the year as KOPW champion.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, so she should end it, and then if Okan, he'll probably want to get it back at some point because I feel like he's just destined to be with this belt, and he can get it back in January.
Yeah,
and then go crazy.
Win the Rambo, and then win at New Year's Dash. There you go.
Yeah. Oh, imagine if you had the Rambo for the King of Pro Wrestling. I mean, they wouldn't do this. And they had like female wrestlers in the Rambo at Wrestle Kingdom. I don't think they will because it's Wrestle Kingdom, but that would be bloody amazing.
That would be awesome. I would love that. Have Suzu in that. But I'm gonna begrudgingly go with the Great Okan here, only because Suzu Suzuki. I want to see this. Trust me, I do. And Suzu is one of my favorites from Stardom, but I just can't see New Japan making that choice. I just don't see it. Just can't.
That's what I thought. Like, that's what I want with Suzuki because I would love that to happen. Do you know what I mean? Because think about it, like Okan's not done many, if any, death matches. He had that really amazing match against Moxley, which I mean, it wasn't a death match, but like it went out. So really, Suzuki has the advantage here.
Yeah, she should have the advantage. She should win. I just don't see New Japan doing that. Yeah. So I'll go with the Great Okan.
I can dream.
Hey, this is what predictions is all about. It's what you see in your dreams.
It's what I'm hoping for. It's what I see in the future.
Then you got a mixed tag team matchup that has a little bit of build to it, as you're going to see Tekla of Hate teaming up with Clark Connors of the Bullet Club War Dogs, diverse Natsupoi of the Cosmic Angels, and Tai Chi of just 4 guys.
Too soon.
Just 4.
Too soon, SP3. Too soon.
3, 4.
Actually, just 3 guys at the moment because Umar is injured.
Oh damn! This is sad. We had Clark Connors get involved in a Stardom event as he helped Tekla, spearing Natsupoi ahead of their Wonder of Stardom Championship matchup just last month. This kind of set the stage for this mixed tag team matchup with Natsupoi calling on Tai Chi to be her tag team partner to face the Bullet Club War Dogs and Hate teaming up with one another here. What did you think about Clark Connors making the jump over the Stardom, starting this whole partnership, this whole alliance with Tekla and spearing Natsupoi, and Natsupoi choosing on Tai Chi to be her partner? And who do you think wins on Sunday?
So funny thing is, after this match happened, the discourse, did you see the discourse online? A lot of people did not like Clark Connors in that match. And I don't even think it was like heel heat. I think they genuinely were like, why is this man spearing a woman in the ring? I thought it was quite cool, to be honest. I'm not going to lie. I love stuff like this, right? Because I think I like that they have a story that has spanned shows. Do you know what I mean? New Japan 1972, they had an interview with the two of them, and it's just really good. And the fact that Natsupoi has got my boy Tai Chi, I think it's great. Like, in an ideal world, I would want Tai Chi and Natsupoi to win because War Dogs are, as much as I are badass as hell, bitter. I'm bitter because they made me go through a divorce. But I also like the idea because it's, remember, Clark Connors is still a junior. I like the idea that Tai Chi gets revenge in this match. Yeah.
He needs the measure of revenge, so I agree with you. I think Natsupoi and Tai Chi get the win. And like you said, it's the heavyweight junior rule. If the heavyweight's on one side and the junior's on the other side for a tag team matchup, 9 times out of 10, that heavyweight is going to pin that junior heavyweight. I think in the past 12 months, we've only seen it once in a tag team matchup of a junior heavyweight pinning a heavyweight, and that was when Hiromu pinned Hanare before their never openweight.
In a recent match,
he beat Honma.
Well, he's still technically.
I'm just saying, all due respect, with all due respect to the sir, that's not what I was talking about.
Yeah,
I'm more talking about either a heavyweight that is on even ground with you, or
that has his whole body working well.
And I'm pretty sure Hiromu is like 1 pound less than Honma. Honma is not some big heavyweight.
Yeah, true. Yeah, that makes sense. I think because technically, I think Clark Connors could pin Tai Chi. Like, I think in an ideal world, but I think with the story, I think New Japan are telling, because I quite like that they've got this match, that you've got just 5 guys versus War Dogs after everything that's happened. So, I'm sticking with my Holy Emperor. Sticking with him.
Stick with the Holy Emperor, indeed. Then we got for the IWGP Women's Championship, Mayu Iwatani will defend against Momo Watanabe. These two women have faced numerous different times for pretty much every title in Stardom at one point or another, but Momo has never gotten an opportunity at Mayu Iwatani since becoming the IWGP Women's Champion. That changes on Sunday. It was Mayu who made an open challenge to anyone on the Stardom roster. Momo was the one who stepped up after coming up short for the NJPW Strong Women's Championship. Do you think Momo has a better chance getting the win here, as Mayu is about to go into rarefied air? She's about to go, I think she's like 4 or 5 months away from a 2-year run with this IWGP Women's Championship.
I was thinking this because, like, as you were saying it, you were like, right, well, they've faced so many times, and Watanabe actually hasn't had the chance, but it's like, would they do this in the semi-main event? Would they not give Momo, like, an even bigger stage to finally beat her? It's just, I mean, going out of kayfabe, because obviously, in normal terms, you'd be like, oh, I wonder who's the strongest, but, like, obviously, in this sort of stuff, we look at, like, bookings and everything going on in the show. So I kind of think Iwatani retains.
I gotta agree with you again here. Like, I don't know who you can get now to beat Mayu. Sometimes you can have a long title run and you're like thinking like towards the end of it or towards the last couple of title defenses, you're thinking, oh, this one can beat him. This one can beat him. Like when Okada went on his legendary run with the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. It wasn't just the Kenny Omega last matchup that everybody thought he would lose it. They thought he was going to lose it when he was going to set the record against Hiroshi Tanahashi. That's what made that match so great. He had a bunch of Wrestle Kingdom. They had the Naito matchup at Wrestle Kingdom in 2018. Everybody thought he was going to lose it there. You have to have multiple times taking it outside of New Japan, like a Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns, I think the best thing that he did during his 4-year run is that he went like a 2-year stretch that had multiple people thinking, oh, this guy's going to be the one to beat him. Sami Zayn's going to beat him. Drew McIntyre's going to beat him. Jey Uso's going to beat him finally before Cody gets the win. So that I like those type of reigns where it goes down the stretch, but you could think multiple people are gonna beat them. But with Mayu and her run, I feel like the only time during this whole entire almost 2-year run that I thought she was gonna lose the title was against Thomas Toni Storm like 2 months ago.
Yeah.
Like that's it. That's the only time that I thought I was like, yeah, that's probably a person they should put the IWGP Women's Championship on. You know, even when she first someone like Sabre, who is, you know, very popular and among the best women's wrestlers in the world, because she wasn't connected to Stardom, I was like, she's not gonna win this. When she versed Shuri at the beginning of the year, there wasn't like this extreme doubt that Mayu was going to win that. I think most people expected Mayu to win that one as well. So I just need more defenses where you're giving her credible challengers that you can make us believe is going to beat them. And I don't think that Momo is that. So that's why I'm going with Mayu.
Who do you think could be then? Because like you said, obviously the last one where it was close to was Tony, but Tony is obviously not Stardom. Is there anyone you think could realistically be that person? Who maybe they don't win, but could make you believe, right, this actually could be the end of the reign.
The person who's getting the build right now, and unless they're saving this for one of their big shows, like I said, they have a big show at the end of December, a big show at the beginning of January, and there's Wrestle Dynasty. The person that they're building who could potentially either win one of those matches at these 3 big events, or they'll be the challenger on one of those big 3 events is Azumi. Azumi is someone who is still on the rise. Despite all of her success, she's only won like the high-speed championship. She's kind of been chasing Mayu while Mayu's been distracted with every other challenger. It's been kind of Azumi in the background like, hey, I beat you in the 5-star Grand Prix. I should get a shot at the IWGP Women's Championship. Mayu keeps saying that she's going to give her a shot, but she hasn't gave her the shot just yet. So I feel like Azumi... And maybe we get the setup for that matchup on this show. You have Azumi win that tag team match early on in the show, and then you have Mayu win here, and then she comes out and challenges her.
Yeah, and I think it would work for Azumi as well because Azumi is so young. And I think it'd be nice, you know, you have that person who, like you said, she's only won one title, the high speed title. It'd be nice to build her and then have someone so young decrown someone who basically seemed invincible. It'd be like, if you compare it to Okada, it'd have been like Gabe Kidd dethroning Okada. Do you know what I mean? Someone who's got so much potential and someone who is already very popular and very successful dethrones someone who almost seemed untouchable.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I would do. That's what I want, and that's what I would do. And I would definitely, I think Azumi is a perfect person to kind of be the 4th IWGP Women's Champion. But then, Sonal, we finally got the main event of the show, a huge mixed tag team matchup as the winner of the G1 Climax 34 tournament and IWGP World Heavyweight Champion Zack Sabre Jr. will team up with the 5-star Grand Prix winner and former World of Stardom champion MAIKA to verse Starlight Kid and El Desperado, the masked brother and sister combo here. So this one was set up basically because it will be the first time that the winner of the G1 Climax will team with the winner of the 5-star Grand Prix. Starlight Kid and El Desperado started their brother-sister relationship 2 years ago at a historic crossover, and they've only gotten better and gone further since then, including their matchup that they had against each other back at the Despe's Invitational event. But now we got them on the same side versus ZSJ and MAIKA. And of course, El Desperado has his history with ZSJ in Suzuki-gun. You had MAIKA who faced Starlight Kid in the 5-star Grand Prix as well. So what do you think about this big matchup to headline Sunday's show? And who do you think wins?
So exciting. Like, I love Despe and Starlight Kid's relationship. Like you said, it's like brother and sister. Like, they, in every way, they just work perfectly together. And then having Zack with MAIKA on the other side, I just think, like you said, the winners of the 2 big tournaments, it's like, it's just, everything fits. And then, like you said, you've got the history between Despe and Zack. And I think this is definitely, like, worthy of the main event. I think, like, especially if they are able to book it. Because I don't think there's any rules that men have to fight men, women have to fight women. From what I remember on the last one.
Because
Maybe
MAIKA hits so hard, she would rock El Desperado.
Well, remember, because Despe is still a junior. Do you know what I mean? And really, while he is strong, his strengths don't lie in the power game. It's like his submission. And I think her strength is perfect with Zack's like submissions. You know what I mean? They are like the perfect combination. So technically you'd think Zack and MAIKA would win. Like they're the top, but I'd love it if like Starlight Kid just came out of nowhere and like shocked the system, because I don't see Despe pinning Zack. That's not gonna happen unless they want to get rid of Shota versus Zack and have Despe versus Zack at Wrestle Kingdom.
Why not?
But yeah, Despe wrestles Doki and then wrestles Zack in the main event.
No, they do a tournament style, who the winner of Shooter versus Zack versus the winner of Doki and Despe in the main event.
To be fair, I've always, because remember they used to do that at they do that at anniversary shows, don't they? Like junior heavyweight champion versus heavyweight. I would love that. I would love Zack versus. Wait, so that means if they do that next year, that means that we've got to have, this is completely off tangent, have Despe win at Wrestle Kingdom and keep it, and have Zack keep it until anniversary, and we can get Despe versus Zack. Again,
see, this is what we're really building to. They're really building to the anniversary show next year when it's Despe versus Zack. See,
you know what? It's too much of a coincidence. You know, they've not just been like, oh, let's do this. They're thinking ahead, and so are we.
See, this is why people come here to listen to what we think, because we know we doing the 3D chess for y'all. I'm gonna go with Zack Sabre Jr. and MAIKA to get the win. I don't think the champion is losing in this tag team matchup, despite just losing in a tag team matchup at the show we talked about on Monday, Fighting Spirit Unleashed. I don't see him losing back-to-back tag team matches, though. But I think this match should be great. I think MAIKA and Starlight Kid will have a good chemistry together, because Starlight Kid uses her speed and submissions, while MAIKA is more power-based and hard-hitting. And then you got Zack and Despe, who they know each other's styles very well from their time in Suzuki Gun. So I'm expecting this to be one of the better matches on the show.
Yeah, and I think it's going to not just be really good wrestling, but it's going to be really nice storytelling. And I think from what I remember from the last historic crossover, because I think Despe had obviously Despe works very well with these kind of matches, which is again it was really funny how like everyone brought like the homophobia and stuff. Like Despe is cool. Don't trust everything you read on the internet, guys.
No, please don't. Please don't. Do the proper research. Go listen for yourself. Go translate it for yourself. Stop
also, like
negativity.
This is not giving him any more work, but like I don't want to be like bombard him. But if there is something that is in Japanese, ask Chris Charlton. Do you know what I mean? Like if he can, he will. Like rather do that than to avoid all of this, because I remember going on last night and I seeing it, and like everyone was proper hating on Despe.
Poor Despe. Poor guy. But yes, hopefully everything smooths over before we get to Sunday, so we can all enjoy Historic Crossover 2 coming up Sunday. New Japan Pro Wrestling and Stardom will have final predictions for the show, for the top matches on the True Hill Heat flagship podcast tomorrow morning. But of course, we want to thank Sonal for joining us live for our proper preview here. Thank you all for joining us live as well. Remember to drop the thumbs up on the video, share it with your friends, subscribe if you're new to the True Hill Heat YouTube channel. Sonal, let everybody know where they can follow you on social media, what you got going on your channel, and anything else you want to plug.
Yeah, so you can find me on X at wrestling_chat, which I'll update you if I'm going to be on here, or if I've got my own videos. You can catch, I literally yesterday posted World Tag League preview, so you can have a look at that. And obviously, I will be back on Sunday with a review of Historic Crossover. So I don't know why you won't subscribe. Like SP3 said, I happen to, I don't know if I've said it once, twice, maybe 50 times, but I will be at Wrestle Kingdom and Wrestle Dynasty. So if you want like a first-hand account of everything, make sure to subscribe, because you'll be the first people to know when I post.
Boom. Yes, go over and subscribe. Sonal's life, doing great content over there. We should be back with an historic crossover review probably on Monday. Monday is usually my day where I do my New Japan reviews, so we'll be back with that to review this show. We'll also have a preview for World Tag League that will be up for our Patreon backers, patreon.com/True Hill Heat, the best place to support us when we are not live here. Go over and follow us Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at True Hill Heat. Check out all the great content we got on the channel right now, like our NJPW Fighting Spirit Unleashed 2024 review, as well as, like I said before, World Tag League preview is coming up on Patreon and for our members. And check out the AE Ramble episode 172, Fear the House, reviewing this week's AEW Dynamite from yesterday. But until then, for Sonal, it is me, your True Hill Phenom SP3. I will be with you live tomorrow morning, 11:05 a.m. Eastern Time, the True Hill Heat flagship podcast. But until then, this has been our NJPW Stardom Historic Crossover 2 preview. We are signing off until next time.